What's up? It's your girl Cece, and I'm back with another episode of Let's Talk USC Women's Basketball. And yeah, as you can see behind me, those are some highlights of yesterday's game, which we'll be talking about right now. And I'm going to be going over stats, and we're going to be talking about tomorrow's game against Mississippi State. That's going to be a tough game, a more tough game than I think anybody expects it to be. And we're going to talk about some other things that were achieved yesterday and some talk that shouldn't be any talk. So, yeah, let's get into it right now. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Did you know Juju has scored 20 or more points in all 5 of her NCAA tournament games? And she ties Kelsey Mitchell as the only 2 players in women's college ball history to record 1,700 plus points in their careers. Kelsey Mitchell finished her first 2 seasons with 1,762 points, and Juju now sits at 1,706. Juju also climbed the USC all-time scoring leaderboard, jumping to number 6 all-time, trailing Cassie Herbert's 1832 at number 5. And you know, I used to watch Cassie Herbert. I got to watch her play under Michael Cooper and under Cynthia Cooper, and she was a good player. She's the one that helped USC get them to their first NCAA tournament, Cynthia Cooper's first year. So yeah, shout out to Cassie Herbert. I wanted to make sure that I shared those achievements for you about Juju because once again, she's just a sophomore. She's only 19 years old. And I think that she's going to jump Kelsey Mitchell here as we move further into the tournament. But now look at some stats. USC's net rating for yesterday's game was 64.8, which put them in the 99th percentile across the entire NCAA. Offensive rating was 100 points, which means points scored per 100 possessions by the team. They were in the green, but they were kind of low, which, you know, got to give UNC Greensboro their respect. They are known for their defense. They are currently ranked number 1 in scoring defense in all the nation. And yes, they play in a mid-major conference, but that doesn't negate how good they were on defense, especially during that first quarter. Also, I would have to say that USC had to shake off some rust, which they did. They had to get into their flow, which they did in the second quarter. But I think you'll see a much better USC against Mississippi State. But as you can see, all of UNC Greensboro's statistics are in the red except for pace of play. They had to play a little bit faster. They played faster than they normally play because USC forced them to do that. So good job for USC. But look at this, 0%, no fast break points at all. Just crazy to me. Points in the paint. USC only allowed 2 points in the paint. That's just a testament to the rim defense that both Rhea and Kiki played. They played very well yesterday. And then points off turnovers, they only were able to get 5 points off our turnovers. Now, our points off turnovers, we scored 32 points off their turnovers. And the turnovers, you know, we have to fix that. We cannot turn the ball over moving forward against all the teams that we're going to play next are all quad 1 teams. We can't turn the ball over against quad 1 teams because if we do, it's going to bite us in the butt. We had 17 turnovers. They had 23. But again, we had 32 points off their 23 turnovers. But we still have to fix that. And as you can see, their field goal attempts, they only took 54 field goals the entire game, which is a testament to our defense. Once we started locking down on our defense, we shut them down. And that's the other thing, guys. I don't think people understand, and I say this all the time, but until you get on the court with USC, you don't understand how good their defense is. And Mississippi State's going to feel the same thing. Yes, they played against Ole Miss, and yes, they played against South Carolina. You know, all defenses can be good, but it's the type of defense that you play, right? So Ole Miss and South Carolina, they're very good defenses, but they play 2 totally different defenses. Same with SC. We're very good at defense, but we play a different type of defense than Ole Miss and different than South Carolina. So Mississippi State hasn't seen our defense. Mississippi State also hasn't seen our size. Yes, they do have a 6'6" person, but they haven't seen our size across the board. Here, defensive rebounds, 36. We had 60 rebounds the entire game. The other thing I want to mention is that we held them to 25 points. That ties the record for least amount of points in the history of the NCAA women's tournament. Guess who we're tied with? UConn. UConn held their opponent to 25 points as well yesterday. So just go figure that we share history with the team that we would like to meet up with in the future of the NCAA tournament. But yeah, we still need to get through these next two games to get there. And these next two games are going to be tough. Steals, we had 17 steals yesterday. 17. But we negated that with our turnovers. So for every steal we got, we turned the ball over. We can't do that. Our shooting, and what's funny to me is I know these guys can shoot the ball. I know they can shoot. They're in there practicing with the gun all the time. So I guess game versus practice is two totally different things, but we have to, these next games, if we're saying we're going to rely on our defense to win games, that's okay. But we still have to be able to score everybody, not just Kennedy and Juju and Avery. Our whole entire team has to be able to hit their 3-point shots. We only took 14 threes yesterday. We didn't really have to take threes yesterday, but still but look, even our 2-point percentage was only 41%. That puts us at 33% percentile across the entire NCAA. We have to be better. Our total field goal percentage was below 40, 37.5. I don't care how good our defense is. We're not going to win games like that moving forward. We have to be able to shoot the ball. Luckily, it was against UNC Greensboro, and they didn't do well shooting either. Their shooting percentage overall was 13%, which was a testament to our defense, and they couldn't get good shots. We just wouldn't allow them to get good shots. So shout out to them. Here's our shooting chart, guys. We were 61.5% around the rim, but look at every place else. 2 for 9 for threes, 4 for 16 in the mid-range, 25%. And even in the paint, 25%, 4 for 16. We just have to be better. Our field goal attempts percentage was a lot better. So we took 16 shots in the mid-range, which puts us in the green. So as you can see, it says the mid-range average is 15.8%. So we were well above that across the board. But here in the paint, 22%, and the mid-range average is 20.5. So we were over the attempt percentage in the paint, but still, it's not green. It's in the white. And then here, 36%, we're above average there. The mid-range, the around the rim average is 30.1, and we shot 36.1% attempts. That's field goal attempts, guys. How many shots we take in the area, and as opposed to what the NCAA percentage is across the nation. So we did well around the rim. In the paint, we need to be better. Mid-range, we did well. Our threes, not so much. And then, but then again, look at UNC Greensboro. They just shot terribly. 0 for 8 around the rim, which just tells you how our rim defenders were yesterday. Shout out to Clarice, Rhea, and Kiki, who defended the rim brilliantly yesterday. And, they have a pretty good post. That post is pretty good. She's well known around the nation. She's in the top 10 in offensive rebounds. So we did a really good job protecting the rim and not letting her get offensive rebounds. So their shooting percentage for attempts were good. They were over the attempt shot rate in the mid-range, and they were over the shot attempt in the threes, but they just couldn't hit them. So shout out. And then once again, here we go. Shooting assist by zone. So field goals attempt 26, and then 16 made, and assisted were 64%. So that's a good percentage for at the rim, which means we were getting the ball to our post players inside the rim. So I just wanted to point that out. And let's move on to some other stuff. Okay, let's point out Some stats that really impressed me. You got Avery Howell right here, who was a plus 35. Just great game. That means that USC was plus 35 in points anytime Avery was on the floor. Um, plus 27. Kaylee had a great game. So proud of her effort yesterday after kind of, being on the bench the last couple games. She came out and she really performed yesterday. So really, really proud of her. Her 8 points, 4 steals, 1 block, no turnovers is what's very impressive. No turnovers. That's a key for us. Kiki Iriafen, even though she was plus 26, she had 6 turnovers, guys. 6 turnovers, but she had a double double with 13 rebounds and 13 points. She rebounded her butt off yesterday. And then Kennedy Smith, plus 27 on the floor. She hasn't been making her shots. And the one thing about Kennedy, what seems to be what strikes out to me is that you can tell that she gets in her head, because Lindsay had mentioned in the pregame press conference that Kennedy Smith is a perfectionist. And the one thing with perfectionists, if they can't get it right, it really affects them, because it gets in their head, and then they can't perfect what they're trying to do because there's so much in their head, in their head as a perfectionist. Yesterday, you could tell she was in her head. You could just tell defensively she was okay, but you could tell when she missed a shot, her body language wasn't right. She was just so frustrated. Like, she's got to get out of her own way. Kennedy, we love you. You're awesome. You're great. Just let it go. You got to let it go. Just like Lindsay said, if you make a mistake, let it go. You can't let it affect you. Otherwise, you're not going to get out of it. You're not going to get out of the funk. So we need her to just let it go, right? And she's doing well. Defensively, but offensively, you can tell she's struggling, and you can just tell visibly that it's really affecting her. Malia, again, she's been coming off the bench and doing really, really good things for us on the floor. So happy for her. And then Clarice, we're going to need for Mississippi State. So she did well for the minutes that she played, and I'm sure that Lindsay wanted to rest her because she's going to get a lot of minutes in tomorrow's game against Mississippi State, kind of like the Lauren Betts type of thing. Between her and Rhea, they're going to be switching back and forth. In Mississippi State, they have some bigs, so we got to be prepared for that. And then I'm proud of Vivian. Vivian came in and she made a tough shot down low. I don't know if you guys remember, the ball was thrown to her and she threw it up and it went in and she got fouled. So really good. Everybody played well. Shout out to my girl AG3. So glad to see her on the court, get some playing time and score a bucket. Just so proud of her. I love her to death. So shout out to AG3, and just shout out to everybody, man. We had a good game once we got into our flow. There's still some things that we need to work on, that we're going to have to be better at, but shout out to the team. All right, let's talk about some advanced metrics for all you nerds out there. Some things I want to point out. Rhea Marshall, the one thing about Rhea is, and as you guys know, if you guys watch the game, she has open shots, and it's almost like I feel like she's so scared to take the shot, like she doesn't want to miss, so she won't take the shot. Rhea, we need you to shoot the ball. It doesn't matter if you make it or miss. We just need you to shoot the ball so the defense will respect you. Because right now they're not respecting Rhea at all. They sag off on her, which hurts us. Rhea has to shoot the ball, especially at that top of the key or at the free throw line where they leave her open all the time. She's got to shoot it. Whether she makes it or not, who cares? She's got to shoot the ball. We have rebounders because they're not going to come out on her unless she starts shooting the ball more. She has to shoot the ball. Here, her EFG was effective field goals, which is the entire shooting is 25%. So in a 23 percentile, and then she didn't take any threes. Field goals made versus attempt 25%, and then 2-point field goals. Again, she was 20, 26, 27, and 27 as far as NCAA percentiles across the board. She's got to shoot the ball. She's got to shoot the ball. I don't care if she makes them or misses them. She's got to shoot the ball. And TVO was 50%. TVO's got to shoot the ball a little bit more too, I think, in my opinion, when she's open. And typically TVO doesn't like to drive the ball, drive and kick. That would make us a much better team if she were to drive and kick, but that's just not her game. But if she could do that, that would help us out offensively a lot if she would drive and kick. We don't really have anybody that can drive and kick other than Juju and K9, right? So we need a point guard that can drive and kick. And hopefully we're working on that for next year, but I regress to what's going on this year. Here we go with Kennedy Smith. She had a 0 effective field goal rate, and effective field goal rate is 2s and 3s together. Just so you know, she had 0%. She was an 11th percentile across the entire NCAA, which is, that's why she's in her head. And the more she's in her head, she's not going to get out of this funk. You can tell now she's starting to hesitate when shooting. She didn't shoot a couple times. She was open. We need her to shoot the ball, right? So here, field goals made. She was 0 for 5. And in the UCLA game, she was 0 for 7, I think. So yeah, she's in a bit of a funk right now, but the reason why, she's in her head. She's got to get out of her head. It's really important for these next games that she goes out there and she shoots with confidence and not worry about whether she makes or misses them. And then Kiki, 40% EFG. She didn't shoot any 3-pointers, which she normally doesn't. She was 40% over, with her field goal percentage rate overall, which was in the green, but it was still low. It was like half, 52% across the NCAA. And then she's 6 for 15 total, 40%, which put her below the NCAA average at 44. So Kiki, it seems like against bigger defenders, what I'm seeing with Kiki is, one, she's pressing, so she's not, again, when she goes up against bigger defenders, she doesn't square her shoulders to the basket. She kind of just throws it up there. She's got to remember, no matter if it's against a bigger defender or not, she's got to square her shoulders to the basket and shoot herself at an angle when she's that close to the rim. And she's got to go up strong and not just kind of do the Angel Reese throw it up type of shot. And that's what I'm seeing. If you guys are seeing something different, please comment below. What do you guys think? But she started playing better in the second half, but her offensive rebounding and her rebounding, we need that so bad. So she's doing so good at that. And then Avery had an okay game. We just got to get Avery open. Seems like a lot of teams are doing well guarding Avery now because they know that Avery's a catch and shoot. So when Avery comes in the game, they kind of lock her up. I hope that we have some plays in the future, some screen actions to get her open. We were running screen actions before not in the last UCLA game, but in the second UCLA game, we ran some screen actions for Avery, and we need to run more screen actions for Avery to get her open. And then once again, Kaylee had a good game, overall. So really proud of this team overall, for how they played after the first quarter. Okay, now let's talk about the USC Mississippi State matchup. It's going to be a great matchup. Mississippi is a good team. I think they're going to surprise some people with their effort. But I want you to check out what Mr. Sam Purcell had to say.
But no, seriously, they're loaded with talent. Again, every poll, because I pay attention to what people write. The storyline here in Hollywood has already been written. It's USC going to face UConn in the Elite Eight. So like any good movie, we need a plot twist. All right, we need to mix it up, but we've got our work cut out because you're playing one of the best teams in the country who's mad that they're in this bracket. All right, we've watched the news. All right, so we know it's going to be an absolute war. And then I know the assistant coach on the other end over there, Beth Burns, who I mentioned last time should be in the Hall of Fame. Beth, I'm going to need you to take it easy because, as much as I think I'm a great scout, Beth Burns she's up there as well too. So they're going to have a great plan. This place will be rocking. Our backs will be against the wall, and again, it's going to take another effort that we're going to have to play our best game.
Great, Coach. That's all.
So he's out for war. He wants to beat USC bad, right? And wouldn't that be a great signature win for him to beat USC? So let's look at some stats and see how this really is going to play out on paper. When I pull up the comparisons chart to compare both these teams together, overall season and last 5 games, this is what we get. So here's Mississippi State and here's Southern Cal Trojans. Our net rating is a 30.2, which puts us in the 98th percentile. Theirs is a 17.1, which puts them in the 88th percentile. Their last 5 games, they have a net rating of 71. We have a net rating of 91. So overall, our net rating, we're the better team on paper, right? Our offensive rating is a 109.4, which puts us in the 96th percentile. Their offensive rating is 104.6, so that's 104.6 points per 100 possessions, guys, just so you know. And that puts them in the 85 percentile. In the last 5 games, they're in the 70 percentile overall in the NCAA. Defensive rating, 79.2, so we hold teams to 79.2 points per game per 100 possessions. Just want to make sure you guys understand, per 100 possessions. 99 percentile, which means we're one of the best, right? Which everybody knows that. We're one of the best. But our last 5 games, we weren't one of the best. We were still good, but we dropped all the way from a 99 to a 92, which probably makes us in the top 50, I would say, at an 84.9. And then their defensive rating, 85. They're in the 85 percentile, and they're 66. So in their last 5 games, they haven't been really. They're still in the green, but they haven't been really that good defensively. Pace of play, Mississippi State is a little bit slower. They run a little bit slower pace, and we like to push the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can control the pace of play for that game, which is going to be very important. We're going to have to get out on transition. They have some real shifty guards and some real fast guards. So I want to see if their guards can keep up with our guards. And defensively, if we can stop the dribble drive, because, we have a real problem defensively with maintaining fast guards. So that's going to be a challenge for us. And as you can see, our shooting has dropped the entire season. We've been in the 80 percentile, which is still good, but it's not in the top, right? But in the last 5 games, our EFG has been 46.6%. So that's 2s and 3s together, guys. 59 percentile across the NCAA, which is, puts us in the middle of the pack. So that's just not good. And look at this. Mississippi State is better than us right now as far as they're shooting their 2s and 3 percentages together. And they've been better than us all year. So, offensive rebounds, we're tied pretty much for the season. Over our last 5, we've been a lot better with offensive rebounding, and we're going to have to come get it. They have Mississippi State, just so you know, they have a young lady that's 6'6". I've been floating out there that if she goes in the portal, we need to get her because we need to replace our bigs. She's good. She's agile. She can actually dribble the ball as well. She has some good footwork. And then they come off the bench. So they have a 6'6" post that they start, who's really good. And then they have a 6'5", that comes off the bench. Sort of like, we have Rhea and Clarice. They have a 6'6", and then they have a 6'5". So Clarice is going to get a lot of work tomorrow for tomorrow's game. Turnover percentage, they turn the ball over a lot. So I think that's to our benefit. We can turn them over. They're real sloppy with the ball handling. So that's going to go to our benefit. We're going to have to turn them over tomorrow. And I'm sure Sam Purcell is preaching to them that they cannot turn the ball over. As you can see here, they're in the 18th percentile nationally when it comes to turnover percentage, which is not good. So that's a benefit to ours, it's to our benefit that we turn them over. So I just wanted to go over that. Here's the shooting charts. Their field goal percentage from threes, 32.5. Ours is 31.6, so pretty close. We shoot better in the mid-range than them. They shoot better around the rim than us. So, and here at the rim, they're in the 97th percentile. We're in the 95th percentile. Wait a minute. Here, field goal attempts were in the 82nd percentile. I'm sorry. They shoot the ball. Their field goal attempt percentage is in the 97th percentile. So they shoot the ball more at the rim than we do. But we're better at the rim as far as making our shots than they are. We're in the 95th percentile. And for having such bigs, for them to shoot only in the 46th percentile is kind of surprising to me. So in the paint, field goal attempts, they don't shoot the ball enough in the paint. As they have bigs, they should shoot the ball more. So that tells me that they're guard heavy, but they're mid range too. Where are they shooting the ball? Oh, corner threes. So 28.9% above the break threes. Mid range twos, 20% of their shots come in the mid range, and 23% of their shots come in the paint. As far as what they do percentage wise, 36.9% of their shots in the paint that they make, 32% of their shots in the mid-range they make, and they shoot 29.3% from above the break threes, so at the top of the key or above the break. And then corner threes, they shoot 35.5. So here in the paint too, only 23.9% of our shots come from the paint. 20% of our shots come from the mid-range. Above the break threes, 22%, which is surprising to me because Juju shoots that mid-range, but she has been taking more threes. And then corner threes, 6% of our shots from corner threes, which to me is surprising because that's where we're good. We're good in our corner threes, so we need to shoot the ball more there. Okay, so that's my breakdown. The keys to victory are we need to protect the rim. Our bigs need to be able to defend their bigs. We have to stop their guards from dribble drive. We have to turn them over, and we have to limit our turnovers, and we just have to be ready to play. I think if we pressure them, we can turn them over. We have to hit our shots, but most importantly, we have to be able to defend their guards and their dribble drive offense and maintain or contain their bigs. That's my keys to victory. Also, I just wanted to say that Mississippi State, they were number 7 in the SEC, so they finished 7th in the SEC in their conference. The SEC is a very good conference. They finished 7th, so we should be able to beat this team. But, teams are inspired. Teams put the gas on when they play us because they want to take down USC and Juju Watkins. That is the thing. The other thing I want to bring up is the headlines with Juju's injured and coach still plays her. That's a bunch of bullarchy. Yes, Juju did roll her ankle, and yes, she did hurt her left pinky, but Juju was not hurt. Juju actually sat the last 6 minutes and 45 seconds of the game, along with all the other starters. Lindsay did pull them out, so she did not play Juju, even if Juju was hurt. But Juju wasn't hurt. Lindsay did ask Juju if she was okay, and Juju gave the thumbs up. So it's just a minor ankle twist. And I don't know what happened to her pinky, but maybe she just jammed it or whatever. But, Juju, as you remember in the Pac-12 tournament, she rolled her ankle 2 times in that game and still continued to come back and play, and then went ahead and played against Stanford and throughout the tournament. So Juju's fine. That narrative to me is just such BS, and I don't know why people do it. So on that note, it's going to be a good game Monday. We have to bring our A game. I hope that all the rust is out because from here on out, it's quad 1 games. And if we want to go further in the tournament, we have to be ready to play, especially against Mississippi State, where Sam Purcell is saying he wants to be the plot twist. So let's do this, young ladies. I know we can do it. Hey, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment below on your thoughts, and get ready for the game. Fight on.